All right, I'm going to jump right in because that's what YouTube says you're supposed to do. Just get right into it. The first 30 seconds are super important. I got the notes. Got New York City in the background. That's not a window. Everything's ready to go. I am highly caffeinated. The first thing I'm going to talk about is and this is for hip hop, pop, rock, R&B, and did I mention hip hop? The secret sauce, the holy grail, the magic. People ask me in the comments, and I read all the comments, so I appreciate that. My comment section is I'm actually impressed with it. You guys keep at it. I just talked to a friend of mine about it this morning. I said, I don't get it. I don't have like 1 million views, but I get a lot of comments on my videos or like the topics, and it's important. The engagement is important. The secret sauce, the holy grail, the magic. What is it? I will give you a hint. Going back to 1957, there's a song by Chuck Berry, famous St. Louis guy. Rock and roll music, it's called. Listen to that or read the lyrics, and you will get a big clue on what is the secret sauce. There's also a video on YouTube with Carol Kay, the bass player from Legendary Sessions. Yes, a female bass player existed and played on more records than you can even imagine if you don't know about her. She does a video. I'll try and put it in the description. She does a bit of like a discussion about what made her bass playing, what she looked for, how she practiced, and what was important. And that secret, that grail tip, is in there also. And you're waiting, am I going to tell you what it is? Not yet. I'm going to go into the other stuff a little bit regarding that. I watched a little bit of EA Ski this morning. He got me fired up because he was talking about a lot of, how you go about living, how you're living. And it's a Saturday. It's a nice Saturday spitballing session of just talking about things that are on my mind. The tornado, what was it? The tropical storm came through yesterday and today, and it was too damn humid. All my guitars are all out of whack. So I have to address that. So here we go. It's the backbeat. It's the backbeat. That is the secret sauce. I'm going on record and saying it's the backbeat. Now, what does that mean? Is it just, in a 4/4 song, the 2 and the 4 is the backbeat, if you don't know. So does that mean that the snare and or the clap or something like that on the 2 and 4 is the most important thing? No, they're there. They're in every song that's a 4/4, generally speaking. It's the interaction of the other elements and how they work with the backbeat. Whether it's the MC who's in his flow, the bass player, the guitar player, who, can have some backbeat issues at times. Vocalists can have backbeat issues. It could be the overall composition of the song. If you're talking about something like with a piano and a bass and guitar, the backbeat is what makes everything come together. It's not the kick drum pattern. It's not the hi-hat pattern. It is the backbeat. If you want to debate me on that, you can. You could throw every comment in the world down into the comments. You could hit the thumbs up, which a lot of you do. Oh, by the way, on that, because I like to skip around a little bit, I get sometimes, there's a couple of videos that have a lot of likes, 275 likes, 175 likes, 183 likes. I'm making up some of these numbers. And there's always one thumbs down. I know that they don't show that on YouTube anymore because people are too sensitive. So they got rid of the negative thumbs down thing. But I have one diabolical viewer, I guess. Or maybe it's someone that just comes along and says like, oh, Tony put out a video today, so I'm going to make it a point to go onto his channel and hit the thumbs down. Because I always get one. I mean, I think I might have a couple of perfect zeros, but I don't think so. I'll do a screenshot of that one of these days. It's hilarious. And it's hilarious that I'm pointing it out and talking about it with you guys. So on that tip of the round table, and I gave it away on the downbeat thing. Look into it. Look at some of your songs. Look at some of your production. Think about it. Could you turn off everything on the rhythm, let's just say on the drum tip? Can you turn off all the drums and just have the 2 and the 4 snare play? And does the song still feel good? It's something to look into. If you don't get it, you got to work on getting it. Can I point you in the direction of something that has a great backbeat? Yes, everything that people love has a great backbeat. Whether it's We Will Rock You by Queen, and it doesn't have to be a big, gigantic snare or clap or something like that. Fleetwood Mac Dreams, Rock With You, Michael Jackson, Play His Anthem, One More Chance, Notorious B.I.G. I'm throwing in the hip hop. So here's a little thought for you guys. I write down some of these things as I'm doing some reading. This one says, if all your beliefs line up in neat little bundles, you should be highly suspicious. And that's by a guy, his last name is Ravakant. R-A-V-A-K-A-N-T. It's a good book. I think it's called The Almanac of Naval Ravakant. Check that book out. It's a book that was put together by compiling a Twitter storm by him, from what I understand. But it reads well, and it's a fast read. But there's a lot of stuff in there. I'll say that again. If all your beliefs line up in neat little bundles, you should be highly suspicious. I can enhance on that. If you are living somewhat in an echo chamber, you only listen to one type of music, or you listen to one artist over and over again, or you read one author only, or you hang out, or you watch a specific news channel all the time, you are living in an echo chamber and you don't have any perspective on what else is going on in the world. Whether you like that or not, it's true. I talked about something a while ago called the sum of the five, which is the sum, you're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Or let's just say, as I pointed out, these could be YouTube people you watch, or channels, or music. They're the sum of the 5. Whatever is influencing you, it's really based on who you hang out with and who you interact with on a daily basis. So just think about, who do you talk to the most in your life? Top 5. You're going to be a lot similar to them. like it or not. They are going to influence you. It's going to affect your life. And I see that with a lot of artists. I see particularly ones that get famous. The 5 people they were around before they got famous and leading up to getting famous tend to be a whole lot different than the next 5 people. So after they attain some fame, or a lot of fame, the 5 people that are around them from then on are almost completely different than the 5 people that were around them on the way up. If the 5 people in your life are mostly, and this is going to be a little touchy for you guys, if the 5 people in your life most of the time have mental health issues or struggles, you're likely to have them. That's the big bomb drop on this video, is that you have to be really careful about who you're hanging out with. If you're hanging out with 5 people that have substance issues, you're going to have to be careful. If you're hanging out with people that are radical, you're probably going to have to be careful. If they have mental health issues, yeah. It's catchy in a lot of ways. It's delicate. You're around 5 people that have a lot of anxiety all the time, you're going to probably have anxiety. I'm not a doctor. It's just my opinion. It's just my experience of seeing it in person, being around it. I wish, in some ways, it wasn't true that people could be impervious to the influences around them. But most of the time they can't. Enhance your strengths and subdue your weaknesses. One of my favorites. So how do you do that? How do you enhance your strengths and subdue your weaknesses? You practice. You put in the reps, as we've said before. You self-analyze. You listen to your music, you listen to your production, listen to your mixes, self-analyze them. And then there's also peer analysis. You could share them with some people. Share them with some people that you trust that are in your inner circle, or maybe even just outside your inner circle. Like, I'm probably outside your inner circle, but I'm in. There is an invitation out there that I do mix analysis and production analysis for people. Not free. Some people ask, but you can email me if you want to discuss that. Just had some guys recently through the channel came through. We had a lot of fun with it, and I think it was successful. One of my favorites that I've heard recently is "What you stand for is more important than what you sell." That to me leans on being authentic and being real and being comfortable with your thoughts or what you stand for, and putting it out there in the world. It's hard to do. It's not easy. It's not for everybody sometimes, but you can work your way into it. What you stand for is more important than what you sell. And one final one in this Saturday Spitball is anyone around whom I can't be fully honest, I can't be around. And that was not my quote. I stole it from somebody. It might even be Ravakant. But I also believe that if you can't be honest with yourself around specific people that are close to you, you can't be around them. I can't be around them. So you got to be able to be honest with yourself fully. And if you're around some people that you need to put on a bit of a show just to be around him. My experience is it's not a good situation. It's not a good fit. I had one quite a few years ago. I was working with an artist, very well known. I don't need to name drop, and I'm not going to tell you who it was. But as things began to change, and specifically it was as their circle of five really began to change and head in that direction that I talked about, I found that I could not be fully honest in this situation. And I had a choice. I could do what other people were doing, which was gassing up the room and telling the artist everything they wanted to hear, or I could, there was another option. I could have the one-on-one conversation, the tough conversation, and explain what my thoughts were, or I could extricate myself from the situation and move on. And in that case, I chose to extricate. I thought at the time it was not a scenario that that a one-on-one was going to save, solve, shake up, change. So it was time for me to go and them to go on their merry way. On a lighter note, I watched this YouTuber recently because you know how you go down the rabbit hole. You watch one YouTube video, and some new person comes into the video, and then you say, well, she's interesting. I didn't know about this person. I didn't know about Emma Chamberlain. Young girl, to me, she would be like my younger cousin or niece. She's of that age. Apparently, I didn't know. She was like a huge YouTube star, and or huge content creator that had a massive impact. More probably 3 or 4 years ago but she's still massive right now in a lot of ways, but not as active. And I found her. I get why Emma Chamberlain has connected. She's, as far as I can tell, quite real. And quite honest. I don't think there was anything crazy going on there. I do think that the sum of her five is changing as I see towards, it changed somewhere towards when she got quite successful. And it's a little bit of a slippery slope for her, I can tell. Like it or not, I mean, I don't know if this is going to be a controversial video. I doubt it. Maybe if I do the thumbnail thing and make it controversial, but I'm not going to do that. That wraps it up. Have a good weekend.